Minister, Regan, Sean, thank you for joining us again. May I just add?
Thank you for having us again.
The small technical issues the first time. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Summer sports. Summer sports, for the first time, being extended by 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How has that affected you guys?
For us, in terms of planning, we've had contingencies in place. We've had the plan A, B, C, and D, as we were asked to do by Regan. So for us, we were prepared for it. In terms of logistics of the training, it's been a bit complicated to factor that in terms of ensuring that the students who are doing exams can attend the training that we've planned. So what we've done is we've spread that out over 2.5 weeks rather than the normal 1 week to give them that obviously time to study for exams, which is the priority.
Yep.
And for those who can't attend specific modules, we've sort of told them that we'll do separate work with them afterwards. So it's been a bit of a logistical headache, but we've put our heads together and we've got a good plan in place.
We've been here before though, and I forget whether it was last year or the year before, just before Governor's Meadow and Bishop Fitzgerald schools came online, the new ones. The school term for those two schools finished slightly early to allow the moves to be done from the old ones to there, and we were asked to step in and provide for those school children. And the year before that, or maybe slightly longer than that, we were asked to extend for St. Martin's because the building wasn't quite ready. What's happened this year, it's at both ends. So it's before and after for everybody. So yeah, but I'm confident the team are ready.
I think as well the important thing is that the consultation process started a year ago. So there was always an indication that this would be a very strong possibility that the term was going to change.
It hasn't come as a surprise.
So it gave the team that extra bit of time to prepare.
And I know that you guys all mentioned that, the timing between kids finishing exams, starting work almost the next day, the training before, and then almost finishing for summer, and then the next day leaving for university, that must have added a little bit of pressure in terms of...
It has, and it's something we need to look after our employees and their well-being, and we've got well-being leads in all our groups, and they do well-being training. But yeah, I mean, it's who LA is. They are youngsters, they're full of energy. So I remember I was back in the day, not now. and if we're looking at those that have finished the exams, year 13s, year 11s, who we do employ, I think they're finishing next week. After the bank holiday, I think that's when most GCSEs tend to finish. Mm-hmm. And year 12s as well. I can say because my son and Minister's daughter, they don't have a full timetable either. They have free periods where they can either supposed to be studying at home, but they can leave the building. So if some of our induction modules happen to coincide with a free period, they can do them then. But if not, we've made contingencies either way. So yeah, we have to keep a close eye on it because it is a long summer, but at the same time, we'll be all right.
I think it's important to add as well, now that we're retaking this.
No fault of our own, may I add.
Solely your fault. That people have been asking about the bathing pavilion and the pools and so on opening at 4:00 in the afternoon. And the reason is, as Regan was saying, the majority of the lifeguards that man those and the beach attendants are students, most of them doing their A-levels. So right now the priority is being in school and their A-level exams. School finishes at 3:30, so they start work at 4.
Yeah.
But it's not because it was bad planning from anyone. It was just common sense that education comes first, and therefore, people are able to use the facilities 3 weeks earlier than they would have in the past, but there have to be restrictions because of the nature of the
of course
that the students are in school.
Physically at school taking exams, they can't be everywhere at once.
Is always going to take priority.
And I think logistically it would have made sense to have a lifeguard 365 days a year because for 9 months of the year.
The only country that does that is Australia, I believe. Where it's a full-blown lifeguarding in Australia is a full-blown career.
Absolutely.
In certain areas,
but
that's Australia.
But they have big sports like surfing, which they're probably doing all year round. So they need people there, not just during summer. For us, it's 3 months of the year. The rest of the year, we'd have no use. Obviously, we have lifeguards in the GSLA facilities, the swimming pools and so on. But on the beach, it wouldn't make any sense.
No. So let's talk about some of the things that the kids are going to be doing this year. I know that in recent years you've tried to not only give sports, but you've tried to throw in some cultural and maybe some artistic avenues. How is that shaping up for this year?
Yeah, so I think this program is probably the biggest program we've ever put on today in terms of the duration of the program, but also the activities on offer. So we've got a lot of new associations who are providing stuff this year, such as the Boxing Association, which we are very happy to see, because we've been doing a lot of work with them behind the scenes. So we want to try and give them that stepping stone to promote the sport so that they can. We've actually, to be fair, had a massive list of inquiries coming through that we've actually had to put a priority list, and I need to contact them to see if they can maybe put in a few additional dates. And similar for paddle tennis, because obviously these associations have recently gone into the world governing bodies, which is brilliant for us. And the summer sports is now being used as sort of a platform to get these children into sports after summer, because we have, before coming to this podcast, it was 390 children who've signed up in less than 48 hours.
We launched on Monday. We got 390 registered already.
I'm probably looking close to 1,000 by.
I say we're going to surpass the 1,000 mark.
I think it's important to mention that the first summer sports program was 3 or 4 employees.
Oh, the one I was on.
You being one of the-
six. 1999 it was 6 of us, some volunteers, and we've grown to
now we're at
98 employees, and
Which
which reflects what Sean is saying in terms of the size of the program and the offering.
I mean, if you're getting up to 1,000 applications, I mean,
I think we need to be clear that we don't get 1,000 kids in every day.
no.
That would be unmanageable. But we do get in the region of 250 to 300 a day in the sports train and stay and play, plus all the satellite activities that are happening, which form part of the program and the booklet. So there's a lot.
Yeah, we've got a robust structure in place to cater for these numbers, because we've seen that growth since COVID, more or less, on both programs. I think stay and play, we've got our highest attendance today as well. I think it's around 47 applicants as well.
47.
So with the total capacity of staff, even those 98 employed directly through the GSLA, we get 12 from Possibilities. We had a partnership with them, and they provide the LSF program, because we identified that there was a gap there for those children who aren't in St. Martin's but can't actually cope with activities in sports train.
Okay.
And then we're running 2 level 1 courses this year, because we've seen such a great demand. So we have about another 60 volunteers joining us, and then we have carers from Lifecom Domiciliary Care.
We need to get the name. We always get the name wrong. And they provide carers for stay and play too, so we can meet the actual ratios with children who need 2-to-1s, 3-to-1s, toileting, that sort of thing. So WCLA help. Forget the name. I'm awful at names, but yeah, thank you to them as well for coming on board.
So at top capacity, we're having about 200 staff running the program. So we do have a very good infrastructure to support this increased demand.
Nice. So I think it's good, because not only are you guys providing for the kids, but in theory for the associations, you're giving them a talent pool and saying,
It's a huge platform for them to sell the sport and for the younger kids to try it out.
Yeah.
And they might fall in love with one particular sport or not. But it gives them the opportunity to try out different sports and see what they prefer.
And I think as well that it's good that you guys are not only doing sports, because a lot of kids like
not everybody's sports.
Not everybody's sporting. So I think it's good that you guys are doing.
We work closely with Gibraltar Cultural Services, and they form part of our program. They've just been on social media this week as well, pushing their element of the program, which come through us as well. There's Walk Through History, Photographic Society and those are very popular. The photography workshops and courses are very, very popular. There's painting, there's all sorts. There's a bit for everybody, more or less, because not everybody's sports orientated, not everybody's sporty, and why not? Why can't you have children out of the house, which is what we want, doing something that they love and not being forced into something that they don't really enjoy? So that's good.
So let's talk a little bit more about the wider sports scene. So, it's a massive deal for us that FIFA are investing such a big amount of money into Gibraltar, into the new stadium. How do you guys find balancing, football, which is extremely successful, with netball or hockey, which are all seem up and coming, but how do you guys balance all sports?
It's not an easy task, and you will never ever satisfy the full demands of any association. I mean, you've mentioned a monster like football in terms of numbers. They would never have enough training pitches. Hockey and other netball's become huge. They will never have enough training locations. Basketball, volleyball, they always want more, which is great, because it shows up that they want to do more. It's just about managing expectations and explaining that we're very limited in size, and we need to share facilities. In the main, they are very good at doing that. They know what the situation is locally. And as long as you talk to them, sit down to them and work on a daily basis like we do, they're very happy. And more that we're getting more international events as well, which for many of them causes disruption in terms of which we're hosting a World Darts Federation tournament in a couple of weeks' time. So we scheduled it out of indoor season so as to limit disruption. But we have one in November, which is right bang in the middle of community youth season. But we now have very good alternative venues. School halls, Bayside and Westside in particular, are excellent. Bishop of Gerald School Hall is excellent. St. Dan's is very good for certain things as well. So we have areas to decant to, and associations recognize the value of international events. And they say, yes, as long as I can carry on doing my sport, albeit slightly restricted this week because there's this big international event going on, but I can keep my members going, they're happy, and they are very good at it, and hats off to them.
I think it's important to remember that obviously we have limited space, limited stadia, and therefore all associations have to share facilities. But I think it's a good problem to have, the fact that we have to share. The last thing we want is to have stadiums empty, and no one using the facilities. The fact is that we're overbooked, so it's a good problem to have. But I can't think of any association that doesn't recognize the fact that you have to share. We've said this many times. The centenary sports hall is the home of basketball, but we also have futsal and volleyball and netball, and badminton and international dog show and whatever else. So although it might be the home of, it's still shared by many other sports. And that's how it's.
Really. And now we used to host these international events without the satellite facilities to be able to decant to. Now we're in a much better position. We've got more events, which is great, but we're in a much better position for them to be able to carry on practicing. I mean, I think testament to that has been the resurfacing of the Tasmanian Sports Hall, for example, which we've had to do because of issues with the floor. We had the Netball World Cup and then the Tasmanian floor, and then we've had to redo it recently. The leagues continued uninterrupted in school halls, and they finished more or less on time with other years. Yeah, slightly compressed maybe and a bit of tweaking here and there, but in general terms, they finished their seasons on time, so which is
and no one's complaining.
No, they've been. I mean, again, my thanks to them. I think I said it in another interview that my thanks to them because they really understood the complexity of we were dealing with in terms of the floor, and they were all on board and really helped us to get through it. So I'm sure them again.
Last year we had the Netball World Youth Cup. This year we had a huge pool tournament and so on. It's
ongoing. We're hosting Morocco ladies hockey. We hosted them last night. We've got them here again tonight. We've got FIBA basketball tournament of the month, WDF darts tournament that I mentioned. Hopefully a couple of boxing bouts coming up as well. So it's constant. It doesn't stop.
So that's on the side of sort of like the associations looking towards the GSLA. How you mentioned quite a few big events. Last year we had the Netball World Youth, then we had the EBA Pool Nations, and now we're having darts. How much does the GSLA have to prepare, or how far do we have to change our facilities to meet sort of world standards?
Depends on the event, and which I know is a very broad sweeping statement, but if all our venues, at least all the venues that host indoor sports, the hockey pitch, we need to look at the turf, but they're up to international standards. So whenever we replace anything or whenever we do works, we always look at an international standard and work down rather than up. So our baseline is the ability to host an international event. So again, I'd give you the example of the basketball tournament that's just coming up now. Little adjustments here and there, but in the main, we've got all the equipment. The floor is top notch. We've got everything there, and a lot of the work then is delivering it from an operational day-to-day event thing, which is now that is the remit of the association themselves. Something like the Netball World Cup was a different animal in terms of we commandeered effectively 2 full venues, Bayside and Europa in their entirety. Where darts, we need to protect the floor. We need to bring dartboards in. We're working with the Darts Association to have a system where the dartboards that they hang up on walls and the hockeys that they put up are easier to do because they are volunteers. They're a finite group of people who work, who have families. So we're working with them constantly to make it easier and easier and easier, because otherwise they turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore." Terms like the EBA pool, we had to bring in 40 or 47, 48 tables, import them. We've already bought some on Pool Associate and kept them here, which will be used all year round. And next year they'll be used for the event. And if you do that year on year, by the end of the day, you're saving money on importation and transport, and you've got them here, and it brings costs down as well. So you learn as well. From event to event, you learn what goes wrong and what you can improve.
And I guess for the associations, it's almost a great investment into the sport. Now, if you've got these new pool tables, these new dartboards that you can say, you
We
know,
always encourage all local associations to do their utmost to join the governing bodies, whether it's a European governing body or international governing bodies. That then entails participation, and in some cases, hosting as well.
so how do you guys go about securing, you know, like the darts and the netball? What's the process behind this?
I mean, the initial contact comes through the association. They go to their, like Minister's just saying, they go to their international events, they go to international conferences, and they have conversations there with their executive committees or with partner countries. Why doesn't Gibraltar host it? It's a brilliant venue. But can you look at what would you need? They themselves go to other events, so we can do this in Gibraltar, so why couldn't? They approach us, they ask about dates availability, budgets, obviously, and the willingness to do it. And from an event-led tourism policy, the more the merrier. Obviously, properly planned and properly scheduled. And then we sit down with them, and then sometimes there's a full bid process where you have 3 or 4 nations bidding for it, and they need to go to Netball World Cup, case in point. Sometimes as international governing bodies are actively looking for hosts because for that year they might be struggling for a host in a particular age category. And we've taken that opportunity with pool in particular, got our foot through in the door, and now we've got, at least for now, a 3-year contract.
Amazing.
So sometimes opportunities present themselves and you need to grab with both hands, do them, and then see where it takes you.
And I guess for a lot of it, Gibraltar being so small, the facilities that we offer compared to travel distances for a lot of these athletes, I says you can't get better than this.
People generally love coming here. You can sense it, and they'll tell you. I mean, we have the pool up at Europa, and the weather was great. And it feels like you're on a cruise ship because you've got all the huge windows looking out into the bay and the straits, and they're just in awe of the place and the hospitality and you know, the fact that we always like to go that bit further and make them feel welcome on the opening ceremonies, and so you know they do enjoy coming.
If you look at per capita, let's take Bayside. You've got a hockey turf-a-side, which will be sorted at some point. You've got a full international pitch and facility that can host European hockey tournaments. You've got a sports hall that can host full Netball Europe and World Netball Now events and FIBA Europe events, and CEV can host volleyball events in there as well. You've got Europa, which can host a whole host of things, squash European Opens, Masters, Rugby Europe Now outdoors, or see the FIFA, UEFA event, and you're looking at 38,000 people, I think, or something like that. And then when you tell visitors and friends from abroad that that's provided free of charge, they like, what? And then you tell them, well, and in the summer, as a side thing, which is not business, one of I like to call them our flagship schemes, we offer this summer sports program, which Sean is mentioning. How much does that cost on road? That's free of charge. Well, people are just like, they're blown away. They really are, because that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. We are really fortunate in that sense.
I used to play badminton for my university, and I used to have to go and I used to have to pay to play.
For the university.
Yeah. I'm thinking, you know, I'm training here, I'm to represent you and whatever. Still have to pay.
I mean, the services that you guys offer, from association to facilities to the now 9 or 10 week summer sports program,
9 weeks.
all of that for free is it's a pretty good bargain.
Yeah, and then association can also bid through us, through the annual registration form, to get funding for certain things. So if they're working on projects, if they need new equipment, because each year they all have to register with us, and therefore the way it works is we work on financial year of government, so they have to forecast a year and a half at times in advance, and they can request funding for development tournaments, for international tournaments, for
I mean,
coaching.
Sean travels regularly with his sport athletics. I have been in the past, and Minister's traveled to international. And when you speak to athletes and coaches, they're like, "How did you fund the trip?" Well, we did a bit of fundraising, we did this and that. We got a sponsor, and government then paid the other half. And you're like, "What? Your government paid half of your costs?" Yeah, government for a full international event will pay 50% of what we call approvable costs. Island games, islands, they are fully self-funded through either sponsorship or athlete contributions. Through the GSLA, we give the Island Games Association 50% of approval costs, likewise with the upcoming Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. That doesn't happen. It's not normal. It's something very unique to us in Gibraltar. And that's why I think we've got so many sports people, I mean, for a nation our size, the amount of people that are involved in sport. And I think you mentioned as well, proximity to venues helps because you can do 3 sports in 3 hours effectively. Yes. I know, I'm in that taxi. I have been in that taxi for a long time now, and you rush from one to the other. But it's brilliant.
Especially when you have kids and there's 3 events in the same day. And,
And we moan. Trust
school.
me, I've moaned about it as a parent. But when you would sit down, call like today, I said, wow, this is amazing. And you don't get that anywhere else in the world. Or I challenge anybody to tell me anywhere else in the world where that happened.
It's really interesting when we have the junior darts every year.
Yeah.
And you get loads of teams. I mean, Mongolia is a perfect example. They travel all the way from Mongolia to Gibraltar to participate. And then when they get back, they start fundraising for the following year. So, it's a constant thing, which is beautiful if you think about it. That's the level of interest. They have to come here and participate.
Yeah. But I think it just goes to show how lucky we are. The government is willing to go.
Absolutely.
We're establishing Gibraltar now as the go-to place for many, for example, junior darts. It's the last date on the tour for junior darts before the big worlds in Ali Pali. So the winners from here, or the qualifiers from here rather, will play the finals in Ali Pali. So everybody points to Gibraltar as the event that they have to go to if they want to go to Worlds. We're trying to work that with the pool as well in terms of the EBA. Gibraltar has to be the event that you come to in order to get ranking points, etc., looking at Europeans as well. So as long as at the moment you establish yourself as the key event on the calendar, athletes and the participants will work towards you for the whole year with a view and an eye on, I need to get to Gibraltar, which is great for us as a community, I think.
And it's great for not only those interested in sport, but just businesses and
you can tell when there's an event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's inward investment. It's good weekend for people if they want to go and watch. And
I was stopped by restaurateurs of Ocean Village over the pool event, telling me how they could tell the difference during the week trade when we had events like the pool happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people came over, but I saw
1,000 players.
1,000 over 10 days.
Yeah. I saw the Postal Speak Freely people complaining about buses.
That's something we're working on already for next year.
So that's an interesting one because it came up in the debrief that we had that I don't think that any of the players themselves have complained about the service because I've played pool internationally. And in most places, a pool or whether you go for the Island Games or wherever you go, most places you get to the airport and then you got to find your own way. Here we go the extra bit and we offer people free bus service and whatever else. So they're really happy and they really appreciate that we go as far as giving them free transport to get to and from the venue. But the players themselves have all been very happy with everything. It's others that have complained about
you can't win
about the buses. Never about the buses being too full.
And I guess it's part of like the summer sports program. No? You do this great 9-week, 10-week show, and there'll always be a couple of kids who are maybe disgruntled or feel like X could have been longer or Y could have been shorter.
Yeah.
I think one important point which we always raise is that although we have great facilities and the summer sports program and everything, but it's not a creche, it's not the child minding service. And you can immediately tell the kids that, they can certainly, that don't want to be there. They don't like sports, they don't like, or they'd rather be at home or, whatever, or sleeping because it's still early. You can really, really tell the kids that and don't want to be there and don't enjoy it. So it's important to remember that it's not just a free child minding service. It's, you're not doing the kids any favors by forcing them, and might stop them in the future from participating in sports because they start off at a young age with a very bad experience of being forced to do table tennis or badminton or whatever when they don't want to. So I think that's something that we have to take into consideration.
And not that we have behaviour issues at the program, we have the kids. So you will have, and that's why the staff are trained. You will have kids will be kids, but we do find that there's a trend that some of the ones that tend to be a bit more, and I use the word problematic loosely because they're not really a problem at all, are the ones that don't really enjoy it. That unfortunately they're there, and we sympathise with families where maybe childcare is an issue, but they don't really want to be there. They've been dropped off very early, they're tired, and they don't want to be there, so they get up to mischief, and that's it's just purely mischief, and that's why maybe explore some of the other offerings on the summer sports program, not just the sports train, because there's a lot that a child could enjoy in there. And not necessarily the sports train. Like I said, not everybody's sporty. It's hot, could be humid, muggy, and the last thing you want to is be somewhere where you don't want to be. So But other than that, we welcome everybody. And yeah, like you say, can't please everybody all the time.
Please
Can't please what's afraid. You can't please all the people all the time. You know?
So talking about sort of maybe kids that don't want to be there, how do you navigate that? Or how does your staff navigate kids that maybe aren't interested in sports and you have a week full of sporting
Yeah, I
activities?
think that is very common throughout the summer. And as Minister and Regan said, we have a lot of children who are brought to the program because obviously the parents use it as a crash service, and obviously at the end of the day we run a sports and leisure program. But we do train our staff within handling difficult situations, because at times it's not the children, it's the parents. Because when you call up the parent, they say, well, look, I'm at work, my child has to stay there. So obviously when we're putting young individuals in that situation, it isn't a comfortable situation. So we have a process where they can report that to us. We'll speak with parents. If we need to meet with them, we'll meet with them. And obviously we never want to tell a child to not come to the program, which is like what we mentioned, that we would put them to go into the other activities on offer. So give them a copy of the booklet. Look, why don't you try maybe a leisure activity, an art activity? Because at the end of the day, we value the importance of children being involved in activities, but we don't want them to be forced into something they don't want to do. And it is flagged up instantly, because the children themselves will say, I'm here because my parents forced me to be here.
Children are very honest.
Brutally honest.
Brutally honest.
But if I may add, that the staff that we have are incredible. They
Some
have
of the games they
patience.
come up with is like, where'd you get that from? Because then you see kids on the beach doing that. You're like, oh, wait, I saw that the other day at summer sports program. The kids are playing on the beach with that game that they get. It's brilliant. It's really good.
Yeah, so the staff that we have are incredible. As Regan said, the games that they come up with, they have to plan sessions day in, day out for this 9-week period, and try and keep up the motivation, because if they aren't motivated, the children are going to be motivated. So I think the credit really, even though us, the GSLA behind the scenes, put on the whole program, most of the credit has to go to them, because these are students who day in, day out for 9 weeks straight are coming up with these activities and keeping children motivated, which is not an easy job at all, because I've been a sports leader before. Yeah. And it was challenging at times. So for a 9-week period, hats off to them.
It can be very emotionally draining as well. Again, we're not wanting to single any particular group out there. They're all brilliant, but those on the same play as well. They're dealing with children with severe learning disabilities and all the challenges that comes with that. And they get very emotionally attached to these children as well. So it's very draining when they have bad days, as they will do, and then you see them really down, and you walk around. I make it a point of walking around regularly, and you talk to them as well. No, I just had a bad day. Things haven't worked out, and don't worry. You're trying your best. You're doing a brilliant job. Because it is very emotionally draining. It's very long.
Very rewarding fun as well.
But at the same time, the flip side is it's
my daughter's one of them, and she loves it when she's, the two might go to the beach, whatever, and these kids come up to her, and she knows that she's making a difference.
I think with Sean's mentioned before that we've had students who've actually changed degrees or career paths based on their experience in STEM play, and they've loved it so much that they wanted to go down the route of getting educated in that strand of education. Yeah. So from us, it's brilliant to see that it has that positive effect as well on them.
As much as we focus a lot on the program and the children, the development of the leaders is just as important. And at the end of the day, we do end up writing around 20-30 references a year for these students. So we want to support them into their career and pushing them as far as they can go, because I don't think, as Regan mentioned before, I don't think anywhere in the world we get this. And when they go to university and they go there, I'd be responsible for these children. I've had to look after them for this. I've gone into St. Martin's School beforehand to build those relationships, and they just stay blown away by the amount of work that these guys do.
I think you guys, although you train, I assume, kids from 18 to about 22, or
level 1 starts at age 14.
That's a lot of trust in very young adults.
Level 1s will be like helping out with equipment that they wouldn't. But I mean, I think a source of pride for me is when you see children who I had as an original sports leader way back when, then they've come on and done the level 1 because they got old enough. Then they became volunteers. Then they did the level 2. Then they got employed. Then they're actually helping us deliver the program now in terms. And then one happens to be my son's head of year in year 12 in Bayside. I'm thinking, we contributed to that person's development at some point to help him be how good he is at his job personally. And it's not just teachers. You got doctors who worked with us, lawyers, and you think at some point we had an influence on that individual, a positive one, hopefully. And it is a source of pride for us that and for me in particular, you've helped shape people along the way that are now giving back to the community. I know it sounds very cliche, but it is true.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like paramedics. You get these kids that genuinely just love helping other children.
Yeah.
They love it so much that they're willing to go.
Especially with the stay and play, I mean, you either have it in you, it's
Or
either natural,
vocational.
it's either it's either a natural thing,
vocational.
or you won't hack it. I mean, don't know about. I mean, my daughter was helping out during the year with another group, and I asked her if she'd enjoyed it, and she said no. I said, well, why not? And she said, because the kids have been working with this another program aren't challenging enough. So I thought, okay, so you're used to kids that are a lot more challenging, and they might hit you or bite you or whatever. And she said, yeah, that's what she finds out, and that's what she enjoys. So I think that is, again, either you have it in you, or you won't be able to hack it for a wholesome.
I mean, I struggle to see any negatives in the program. I don't think there's any.
But it's important to note, if we go back a bit, that there are other charities who offer other So, for example, I know that one of the charities, Mindspace, for the last 3 years have offered summer program where they've gone, things like a dolphin safari or a historical walk through the northern detentors, a visit for the day to the Gibraltar Fire and Rescue Service. So there are some kids who might enjoy that more than, again...
Possibilities do their own as well. Cycle, I think, is another program which engages young people. So there's a lot going on in Gibraltar, but during what normally were very quiet, dormant summer months. There's a lot offering. I mean, we are the biggest one in one group, but there's a lot happening, and we have links with all of them.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a service for
Everybody.
kids, no matter which avenue you go down.
As long as they're doing something positive somewhere,
Yeah.
they need to be engaged.
Okay, Minister. Regan, Sean, thank you for coming again to you.
It won't be third time lucky.
And the reminder, we still don't have weightlifting on the summer sports.
Yeah, next year we'll be having weightlifting.
Oh, we've got it on camera.
Hopefully it's recorded this time. Hopefully it's recorded.
Hopefully the audio is there, otherwise he can say whatever he wants.
So, I mean, now is going to be pretty intense.
It started.
Yeah, now is going to be the next couple of weeks are going to be very intense.
We launched Monday. We've got leaders in charge already doing the rounds down the stadium. 390, almost 400 kids in less than 48 hours.
Swap emails.
And we still haven't got to CISO, the platform for middle schools. This is just based on the back of our social media campaign. Sean and Michelle and the team have to contact whoever they contact to put it out to every school-age child in Gibraltar and CISO. And that's where we'll see another massive...
That's where you'll get the other 600 kids.
Effectively, yeah. I was trying to be kind to Sean, but it's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen. And good, and it's great. It's great that it does.
It's good.
Remember, we're waiting for you the last day for the...
I was about to say, there's no escaping from me going at the water day.
You chickened out last year.
Yeah.
I conveniently came dressed like this.
Shorts and a towel.
Maybe as the longer summer, we should put in a few extra water days, just in case we don't get warm.
Name one after James.
I'll bring my GoPro that day. GoPro and a pair of shorts.
James's water day.
We've got a lost and found where people leave all sorts. We can obviously kick you out.
There's no escaping this year. The last year I had brought a really big lens, stayed very far away, and I was like, no, I don't want to get wet. But no.
Go.
Well, gentlemen, team, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We will touch base after summer to go over how successful it is.
Yeah.
And then we can look forward to darts, was it, at the end of the year?
Darts is now in a few weeks in July.
So in the midst of everything.
See, there is another one later on,
in November,
which is the JDC.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got basketball in a couple of weeks' time. We've got darts straight after that. Hopefully something else.
Special Olympics.
Special Olympics end of June. All that happens whilst this is going on.
No pressure. There's no pressure.
It's what we're in it for. Yeah.
Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not another press